Eduardo Dengler.
Damn.
Woohoo! Eduardo, look at this.
Wow, what a treat. I've been counting the days for this day and to be able to chat. It's been a little bit since we saw each other in the flesh.
So now maybe we try one of your favorite winery. I know that because Buena Vista, which is a great wine. This is the 2019 Sonoma County. He's going to tell us a lot about sake today because, you know, he's one of the very few I should say emperor of sake. So then we'll do a little sake tasting, but describe this for us.
This is incredible. I think this definitely captures a California sunshine in a glass with a little layer of like little marzipan, almond, roasted hazelnuts, just very well integrated. It has weight.
Yeah.
It's got plenty of orchard fruit and a little bit of like a tropical component. I mean, it's one of those wines that you keep digging, it keeps giving you more. It's like one of those people you meet, like yourself. It's like, oh my God, and now this, and now that. And it could be 8 hours of conversation. And easily you can go through a bottle in no time because you keep looking at that, looking at all the aspects, keep it interesting.
Christy, welcome, and good to see you. Woohoo!
Bonsoir, santé.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about our JCB 69 here, which is, as you know, my passionate and one of my favorite wine. On every show, I serve it and I pop the cork because I've never gotten bored ever with this wine. In the bathtub, under the shower, in the pool, on a tete-a-tete, in your fancy restaurant. I love it. So tell us about it.
One of the things I love about wine so much and what you get in bubbles is texture. And I certainly love the texture that I'm getting here because the bubbles are they're this suave, creamy, layered, just kind of like enveloping the tongue and just kind of dancing in every single crevice in my mouth, which I love. And the other thing that is really remarkable about this Crémant de Bourgogne is that it's all Pinot Noir. It's so unusual to see 100% Pinot Noir for bubbly. I love that. And it's such a pretty pale pink and it's quite delicate. Pinot can be quite forceful and there's this just elegance, gentleness. It's très bourguignon.
Oh, so I'm getting you some roses. So I just realized, by the way, I had served myself Resurrection and not yet Restrains. So why don't you describe us Restrains and tell us about how you feel? Because this is obviously a very special wine. Wow, I love how you're wearing it.
It works pretty well, actually, with the gray. Well, I dressed appropriately.
We know you're audacious. We've never done it that way. It looks awesome.
Well, thank you. And I just have to comment as well that once you take this off and you see this just restrained at the bottom, it's very dramatic. It's like, ooh, what's in there? What's being hidden? What's being restrained? How do I get that up? So what I really enjoyed, and especially comparing and contrasting these two wines, was that they had very different personalities, and this one of the two is the more structured, and so possibly the more restrained. Since we were talking about texture and mouthfeel before, I'm just going to start with that. And what I noticed is that there are some kind of grainier, grippier tannins in this wine. Just a touch more drying in the best kind of way, and definitely more acidic presence. And that it may not be technically more acid, but I definitely felt more of kind of that mouth-watering acidity in this wine. And I was like, wow, this is kind of buckled up, if you will. And I was like, wow, that is a great name for this wine because it's it definitely is nicely structured, and there's really good, I think, aging potential because it has that fantastic acidity and those nice tannins.
Now, as I'm serving the next wine, I served Resurrection. Tell us about what you feel when you taste this wine. Tell us what you sense, what this wine brings into the charming Christy herself.
Well, when I'm going to taste it in just 1 second again, but when I first tasted this, I thought, and the mind can be led in so many ways, but I thought, wow, when I think of the idea of a resurrection and kind of that uplift and that, resurrection seems, joyous, it's happy, it's good, it's kind of an outpouring of positivity.
Yeah.
And this is plush, it's lush, it's this outpouring of it just, of Napa gorgeousness, everything that is that sunshine filled, friendly, beautiful, gorgeous valley. And so that was my initial impression of resurrection.
We're going to encapsulate that just part of the video and use it all over the world now. We love it. Well said.
Thank you. But what I really like about this wine is that I think that I'm mostly getting this. There's this kind of like almost wild, untamed vigor of Napa fruit in the best way. That's kind of like bam, and then at the end it cleans itself up, and it's like, oh wait, it's not just fruit. There's some tannin and there's the acid, and it's like, oh, and then it makes me want to go back for another sip, and I will.
Well, we love it. Untamed vigor. So to bring him on, JCB Bubbles. Woo!
Wonderful to be with you. As you know, I'm a huge enthusiast for your wines and for your shows and for your wonderful book, and it's an honor to be with you.
Tell us about the wine, as you are the wine expert.
As you know, sparkling wine has become, in the White House, it's become a part of virtually every meal. And today, of course, it's American sparkling wines, and usually they finish the meal. So it's very appropriate for you with your sparkling wine to be associated with the menus of the presidents. I opened this just a few minutes ago, about a half an hour ago, actually, and I really enjoy it. I think I am a person, maybe from being in California, where I like to know that there's some fruit in my wine, and I can certainly taste it there. But it's very, I can say some concentration, and also I thought it was very easy on the palate, and in the last taste, a nice little sweet finish that certainly appealed to me.
I'd love to get your opinion on the famous JCB 81.
Well, I am a lover of California Chardonnays again, so I am certainly biased. I really love I thought that the smell had a real freshness, kind of apples and peaches that kind of caught me from the very beginning. And I will say I'm not a fan of very thin wines, and this is not a thin wine. This is a good bodied wine, which I certainly loved. And I thought also that it had kind of that, I like that stony flint taste, and I could taste I sense a little bit of that as well, which certainly made it appealing to me. Am I identifying with any of the ways that you perceive it?
You're a man of beautiful words and fabulous taste, so I can only approve. Thank you. Now I serve the next wine to toast, and with no bread in the wine.
This doesn't require bread.
And to commend you for doing this, because this is really showing your personality, and thank you for doing it.
I have to confess, besides being super partial to California wines, the Sonoma coast is my favorite region, particularly for Pinot Noir, and I just love the characteristics of it. And I think I mentioned you earlier, my wife and I opened it last night. We opened this wonderful bottle, and we each had a glass, and I put the vacuum pump on the top to preserve it for today. I put it back in the refrigerator. I took it out about an hour before you and I got on this. And I have to say, as great as it was last night, I think it's even better tonight. So yes, it's spectacular.